first suggestion I have is to think worst case scenario and work backwards. So with SoTL research, it's relatively low risk, so you don't have many worst case scenarios, but a couple things that could happen is one, where your confidentiality is breached. So maybe you're using quotes from students, and the way that it's a small class, and so the way that they are describing things outs who it is that you're talking about, and you can block those words out, rewrite it in a way that it doesn't reveal who your students are. And so that would be one thing that you might need to think about. The other is if you have minors in your college classroom, you won't be able to include them. They would still be involved in the activity, but you just wouldn't be able to use their data. The second thing I would suggest is, when in doubt, ask. We love questions. Both Cindy Morgan, Tammy Castle, and myself, we're tied to our emails from 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. So we're very responsive and generally give you a quick answer. It's always better to ask versus ask for forgiveness later. The third thing I would suggest is keep an open mind in regards to design. We are on your side. We are not trying to ruin your study. It's very natural to be defensive about things when we come back with suggestions. We are not criticizing your design. We're simply there to protect participants' well-being. Yeah, I think you probably could do that. That would definitely go through IRB, because it's more of an experiment. If you word it as an experiment, I think you would be fine. Sure. Yeah. If you're using the participant pool and you're not doing an intervention per se in your class, and you're just asking everyone in the participant pool, and some of those people may be in your class, that is completely fine, because there's multiple studies that they can choose from. So they are choosing. And so we're good there. The problem that we run into is when you are doing interventions in your classroom and you are obtaining consent from your students, and it's the instructor that's going through that consent process. That can give an air of coercion for your participants and your students. So typically what we recommend is have someone else come in and do that consent process, so that they feel okay to say no. It could be a grad student, it could be another faculty member, just so long as the person asking for the consent has zero control over their grades in that class. Same argument with the instructor shouldn't be doing the consent process. They could send it out on a question pro survey and have someone else send it out, right? Hey, we're doing this research. If we'd like to include your data, but we need you to read this consent form and agree to it. If you were to do verbal consent processes, my suggestion is always do question pro to have some kind of proof. But if you were to do it online via Zoom, you could record that portion where they are verbally consenting and do a verbal consent. But we have to have some kind of proof that they've consented if it's not exempt. My personal preference is always do it prior, so that people aren't surprised, right? Although there are some situations where you didn't realize at the beginning of the semester that you were going to do these interventions, or you wanted to collect data. At that point, you would need to grab consent after. However, if the class is over and you're simply using data from, say, Canvas, or data from Zoom, or data from, their assignments, that would be exempt as long as everything was de-identified. And so you wouldn't need consent in that process. No, it would be exempt, but you would still need to run it through IRB. It would be exempt. As long as they're de-identified, no. But that refers to my earlier example, make sure that nothing about them outs who they are. But yeah, absolutely exempt.